Welcome to the Sam Pebbles podcast. Our guest, Gary K. Wolf, who's a writer. Well-known book was Who Censored Roger Rabbit in 1981. Your first couple of hours are really kind of tragic, classic science fiction, and then you went over to this. I mean, did it just happen naturally, or it was
Oh
intentional? Did
yeah,
you think?
yeah. No, it happened naturally, and while the Roger Rabbit books are funny, I think they're funny. Other people think they're funny, and in fact, if you look at my Wikipedia site, I'm described as an American humorist. But I don't write funny stuff. It just happens to be funny. I don't intentionally make my stuff funny. My stuff, even my Roger Rabbit stuff, is very serious. The first Roger Rabbit movie dealt with problems of discrimination.
There was an entire new life. I mean, you actually created a
Yeah.
form of life.
I see the Roger Rabbit stuff as being very serious. It deals with discrimination. The Toons are the second-class citizens, and they're forced to live in Toontown, and nobody really trusts them. Nobody really likes them. Nobody, especially Eddie Valiant, doesn't want to work with them, and they're the equivalent of any minority group today. And what I try and show in Roger Rabbit is that Toons aren't any better than humans. They're not any worse than humans. They're just different. And Bob Zemeckis, who directed the movie, got that. He really got that. And I think that kind of dark undertone comes across in the movie. And that's really what I wanted. All of my books, I do not see, even though they're hilarious and funny, I don't see them as humor. I see them as serious novels.
Yeah, you have a true form of life. I mean, you have pretty much everything you'd find in the real world. So what do you think of someone who blows up a Campbell soup can and puts it in a museum and sells it for $1 million?
Well, God love them. I mean, wish I'd thought of it. Again, you're talking about kind of tastemakers, and you're talking about experts. You're talking about critics.
Aren't you talking about people who ridicule like you said, it's, 10% inspiration, 90% work, and they
Yeah.
ridicule that. I mean, they go to cocktail parties, get to know rich people, and then sell the rich people their Campbell soup cans.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's some of that going on. I can't say that Campbell soup can is an art because the fact that Warhol thought of doing a Campbell soup can and blowing it up big and putting it on canvas and painting it and selling it, that's genius. I mean, and somebody bought it. Wow, well, that's genius. I used to live in San Francisco, and I used to go to a lot of art fairs on weekends, and I used to see everybody doing hand tool leather belts and making pottery, especially hand tool leather belts. And I thought to myself, the first person who came up with a hand tool leather belt, that guy was the genius. He was a genius. And everybody else is just copying what came before. And I feel the same thing about somebody who puts this Campbell soup can on a canvas, or squiggles of paint, or Mondrian and his straight lines. The first guy to come up with that's genius. He's done what I consider to be genius. He's taken one thing, combined it with something else, and produced a third thing that didn't exist before. And that's genius. Everybody else who comes after is just copying what came before.